What I wanted to create for you in this video was a no BS, direct, clear talking approach to what to do if you're going through a breakup. I think breakups can be the most difficult thing in the world. And if you've just been through one right now, the reason why it's so painful is it affects your confidence. It affects your future. It affects your self-worth, and it affects your loneliness and connection. So if you know someone going through this, pass this along to them. And if you're someone who's going through it, make notes and listen carefully. One of the things people don't realize about a breakup is that you're actually going through grief. You're going through grief of what you thought you'd have with this person. You're going through the grief of who you thought this person was. You're going through the grief of who you were with this person. There is a lot of grief wrapped up into a breakup. And here's the first step. We need to learn to grieve without the fairy tale filter. Is stop idealizing what it wasn't. Your brain is wired to romanticize the past, especially after rejection. Is this nostalgia that we all have about these simple moments that maybe you haven't thought about, but all of a sudden come flooding back? But here's the truth. You're not missing them. You're missing the version of them you hoped existed. The majority of people that I've spoken to that were broken up with were more in love with the promise the person gave them than the reality they experienced. We have to come back down to earth. The quicker you can be honest with yourself, the quicker you can heal. I'm not saying speed is important, but if you're someone who wants to move forward, it will take that approach. Step number 2 is interrupt the obsession loop. When you speak to someone who's gone through a breakup, they need to talk about the same thing multiple times. That's normal, by the way. That's how our mind processes. Sometimes we need to say the same thing in the same way, and someone else is thinking, what is going on here? But our brain is almost washing it, right? Think about it like a washing machine. A piece of clothing doesn't just go in the washing machine once and come out clean. The washing machine has to roll again and again and again and tumble again and again and again to get the dirt out. That's kind of how our brain works. That's how our mind functions. We have to continue to wash a thought to rinse it of the dirt and for it to be clean. But at some point, we have to interrupt the obsession loop. Because what happens, just as with an item of clothing, after 40 minutes, it has to come out of the washing machine. If it stays in there for another round, it may get stuck in there. It may start to lose the quality of the material. It may start to stretch, right? It's not ideal for it to stay in that process. So there is a moment where we have to interrupt that obsession loop. How do you know to do that? It's not a timing. You can't say that's going to happen in 1 month. You can't say I'm going to do it after 1 week. You're going to know if you're present with the repetitive thoughts. At one point, you're going to say, I need to move on. If you've practiced number 1, you'll know when to do number 2. Every time you stalk their feed, replay a memory, or wonder what you did wrong, you strengthen the loop. Stop looking at your ex's social media. They're not your future. Break the cycle. Block, mute, delete. Remove triggers, playlists, photos, even scents. All of the scents, their clothing, the photos, the places you hung out have to be off bounds. Because what happens is we have a chemical connection to all of those things. We have to learn to change our chemical connection. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace that rumination with a new routine. Moving your body, engaging your mind in new ways changes the chemicals. Don't wait to feel better. Break the loop to get better. Step number 3 is kill the narrative that it was all your fault. When there's no closure, the brain creates one, and it usually turns against you. The biggest mistake you'll make after a breakup is you'll blame everything on yourself. You keep replaying the moments you wish you said something different. You keep thinking about all the things you got wrong and they got right. The biggest mistake you'll make is you'll keep replaying every time you could have done something differently and they acted perfectly. That is a mistake because you're not giving yourself grace and you're taking accountability and responsibility for something that existed between two people, but you're making it all about you. Write this down and say it until it sticks. I can take responsibility without taking all the blame. The challenge is, and you know this, you ignored the red flags because you didn't want to start over. Stop ignoring red flags. All of us ignore red flags because we're trying to trust the other person, not realizing we should focus on trusting ourselves. Step number 4, close the loop with your own ritual. Create a closure ritual, something symbolic that tells your nervous system, this chapter ends here. And you can write them a letter. Don't send it and burn it. You can bury a photo, delete the last message thread, then go for a walk with no phone. Closure isn't given, it's created. They won't explain why they changed. You have to stop needing the answer. Step number 5, understand that pain doesn't mean you're meant to be. Just because you feel pain from a breakup doesn't mean you're meant to be. Just because you think you missed that person doesn't mean you're meant to be. Just because you think that they'll come back around doesn't mean they will. You hurting doesn't mean they were your soulmate. It means you felt deeply. It means you have the capacity for love. It means you have the ability to give. And you're human. Pain isn't proof it was right. It's proof that you cared. I read one study that said that when you feel left out of the group chat, it feels like you broke your leg, right? There's a physical pain felt from an emotional discomfort. So when you're going through a breakup, it's going to feel like a punch in the gut. It's going to feel like someone ripped your heart out of your chest and broke it into pieces. It feels like physical pain. But here's what you need to remember. Just because it hurts doesn't mean it was right. Remember what I said earlier. Love isn't about what feels the most exciting. It's about the person that makes you feel safe, seen, and supported. Someone breaking your heart open, ripping it out of your chest, is not safe, seen, or supported. Step number 6, redirect the energy ruthlessly. Heartbreak gives you access to a fire most people never touch. Use it, channel it, move with it, get a new passion, write like your life depends on it. Psychologist Dr. Jordan Peterson calls this productive aggression. Instead of turning it inward, transmute it. Breakdowns make incredible fuel when you don't waste them on breaking down. You use the breakdown for a breakthrough. And finally, step number 7, stop waiting to feel ready. After a breakup, your brain experiences an identity gap. You don't lose the person, you lose who you were with them. So here's your job. Pick one thing that's yours. One thing they didn't influence. One version of you want to grow into. And start acting from that place now. If you're going through a breakup, remember this. You're not trying to get back to who you were before them. You're becoming someone who they never got to meet. I empathize with anyone going through this in their life right now. I create these videos and these podcast episodes in order to serve and support you and help you. I really hope that this can be your guiding light. We have so much more content dedicated to this on the podcast, on my YouTube channel. And make sure you pass this video on to a friend or family member who may be struggling. And I'll see you soon. Remember, I'm forever in your corner and I'm always rooting for you.